All right, sweet. So now let's talk about how you're going to actually measure out your food so you can be as accurate as possible. Guys, the best way to measure your food by far is by using a food scale. It's the most accurate, and you don't have to do this all the time, but I strongly suggest that you just leave one on your kitchen counter. And every time you have the opportunity to actually weigh out your food, do it that way because it's the most accurate. And remember, we want to be as accurate as possible so that we can have super consistent results. And if you are doing this the accurate way, right? You're measuring everything out. It's also going to teach you what 6 ounces of chicken looks like, what 1 cup of rice looks like, and you will eventually learn what these portions look like so that you can be better at eyeballing them in the future. And then our second best option is going to be to use a measuring cup. And I say second best because there's been many times where I weighed something out in a measuring cup. I double checked the portion on the scale and it was way off because the food just didn't fit right in the measuring cup. There was a lot of extra space, right? And then third best, there's an AI camera now that we're going to talk about in the next slide. And I don't know exactly how accurate those are. I would have to assume that there is a little bit of variance there, but how awesome that you can have an easy option like that when you're on the go. All right. And then probably the fourth best is the hand measurement tool. And this is what you're going to use intuitively for the rest of your life, especially with your fats, right? Because we know that those are super high calorie. So if you're doing like olive oil based dressing, we want to make sure that we're not going over on the fats. So, first choice, guys, use a food scale as much as possible, especially your first couple months, because it's going to teach you so much about portions. And then as time goes on, you can just continue intuitive eating by doing something like a hand measurement tool. All right. And then these are your best tools for actually tracking your macros. So, MyFitnessPal, it's been around forever. This is what I used when I first started learning macros like 12 years ago, and I still use it today. And you could just use the free version with this, right? So, when you create your MyFitnessPal account, the first thing that you want to do is change your goals. So, if you go to the settings here, you go to the goals tab, it's going to allow you to change your total calories. Once you adjust your total calories, then you can go in and change the percentages of your macronutrients, your protein, your carbs, and your fat. And you will know exactly what those numbers are because you used ifitfitsyourmacros.com or tdeecalculator.net, one of those websites to come up with the calories and macronutrients that make sense for your goals. And then from there, if you guys are having trouble, if you want to use this AI technology, there's a new app called Cal AI where you could literally take a picture of a meal and then it'll tell you exactly how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats are in those meals. So, not ideal. We want to be able to measure our food and look it up specifically in MyFitnessPal. But if you guys are on the go and MyFitnessPal for some reason doesn't have the food you're looking for, how cool is it that you can use a tool like this? All right. But for the most part, guys, like everything is in MyFitnessPal. It's been updated for like 20 years now. So if something is not in there, like people are adding to it every single day. And then an awesome way that I can hold you accountable, right? You have your Trainerize app. This would be your account, right? So you could see that I have a goal of 1700 calories here, 128 grams of protein. And then we have this solid line. So this is the goal every single time. And at least if we're not hitting the goal exactly, like we want to be within 10% of that goal, which is these little hash marks right here. And then really for this to work, guys, you need consistent solid bars for like 30 days straight. If you aren't being consistent with your inputs, with your protein, your carbs, your calories, then there's no sense in ever changing these numbers, right? We talked about earlier how every couple weeks we want to adjust the numbers slightly. That only makes sense if you're hitting it on the money, like you see these 3 days in a row. That's perfect. But we also have to do that for the calories. We got to do that for the carbs, and we got to do that for the fats. So if you are going to hop on board with macro counting, you want to get into this, you're sick of having inconsistent results, you want to literally see like a straight line your weight loss, then the one thing that you have to commit to is once you set these goals, you're going to hit your calorie, your protein, your carbs, and your fat goals on a daily basis, like be within 10% of those numbers, either plus or minus. And then you'll have super consistent results. Whenever you plateau, you can make that small adjustment and it will actually make an impact. if you're within like 30% of your macronutrients every day, you make that adjustment is literally going to do nothing because you were not hitting those numbers in the first place. So, watching this, guys, I hope that you can understand the benefit of this. Does it take a little bit more time? Is it a little bit more tedious? Absolutely. Yes, it is. But if you want the results, if you want to be 100% sure in a straight line to your goals, then this is the way. You don't have to do it forever. You do it for a short period of time, and then you get back to intuitive eating. All right. So, any questions, guys? Drop it in the community group. Drop your questions in there. You see that I'm super active on it every single day. I promise I will get to each and every one of you. And this could be a really good diet for you guys for November. So let me know what you think.